Stay back. You're not one of those slimy druids. Who are you? I've got to get out of here. Why didn't I just drown in that shipwreck? They turned them into coral. Sunagil. Those Eldertide bastards turned him into this glow. Then they fed the glow to the coral. They said that the archipelago belongs to nature. That they were carving a balance between the natural world and greedy mortals. They brought us through the caves and up to the platforms above. Then they shoved us into cages. Veslin. She was whole when I escaped. I offered to help her, but she wouldn't leave the others and I had to run. I had to. I can't do anything. Not against the Eldertide Druid's power. But you can destroy their coral. The Eldertide sacrificed my shipmates to it. Those druids need to suffer. The coral is inside the caves, just down that hill. Make them pay. I'll give up piracy if you do as I ask. Right now. But... oh, all right. If knowing more about them will help you save the others, I guess I can stay in this place for a... they're the ones who should be locked up in the Amino stockade. They're not even supposed to be here. They corrupt nature. Even their magic does horrible things. It hurts, too. The way Sunagil screamed. Does there have to be a reason? Eldertide druids can corrupt other sea creatures too. Urchins, sea stars, fish, crabs, that sort of thing. But the coral they corrupted here... it looks like the coral that wrecked the ship. They planned this. They changed the coral into something unnatural. It stinks of druid magic and... blood. It'll look different too, if there's light enough to see. I'm not going to let them turn me into that. I passed by one a little while back. It should be down that way. The other corals are probably inside the caves. We could still hear our shipmates' screams from the cages we were locked in. They're the ones who should be locked up in the Amino. Anyone still alive will be in the cages above. Destroy the coral. Make those druids pay.
What did you find? Let me see.
Stop the Elder Tide.
More of you vile serpents to fight. Good. I'm just getting started.
Over here, quickly. I don't know when they'll be back.
Thank the Eight you're not one of those druids. Hurry, get us out of here. The druids, they're using us to feed their coral. Screams. I don't want any more of us to suffer that pain. Please, please get this door open.
Sergeant Brusick survived the wreck. The Sea Elves said he was as good as dead. They regretted leaving him there as soon as those druids locked us all up. The Sergeant and I take care of our prisoners. That would be Kyrisia. She offered to pick the lock on this cage, but I couldn't leave these two. Seeing the druids when they killed Suni Gil and the others, it broke their spirits. Kyrisia's many things, but she's not a liar. It's my job to guard the prisoners. I failed so many of them already. I'll not fail these two. If you open the door, I'm sure I'll be able to rally their spirits and get them out of here. Either pick yourselves off the ground or let me carry you. We're getting out of here. Sergeant Brusick's waiting.
You don't... I was hoping to notch an even 20. My friend, what a turn of fate to meet you here of all places. I didn't accidentally banish you to Amanos, did I? No, of course not. I'd remember if I saw your name on one of those prison writs. But what are you doing here? Pray tell. Lady Arabelle, you say? How is the dear woman? She and I have shared quite a few close calls over the years. But she only sent you? I assumed I merited at least a dozen knights or so. Ah, well, I assume you have a way to get us off this damn island. Ah, you've seen Irene. And she's still alive? Good. Do you know, I was looking for young Ernskar when these serpents rushed out and tried to toss me in that cage. I showed them. But I think they may have captured our wayward Nord prince. I half expected to find our young Nord prince sitting atop a pile of dead serpents, but no such luck. Let's take a look around and see if we can find anything that points to where the serpents might... Come to think of it, I also heard these serpents mention a captured noble. I suppose that's what whoever's behind this told them. No reason to reveal we're royals. Instantly raises the bounty. I really wish I'd taken one of them. What does a High King do? Everything and nothing, or so it seems some days. I lead the Daggerfall Covenant, I rule over High Rock, and I attend meetings. So many meetings. Any other questions before more of these serpents show? Over my strenuous objections, honestly. I was Earl of Cumberland. Before King Gardner died, he dropped dead of the Nahartan flu, and suddenly I was crowned King of Wayrest. Haven't had a decent night's sleep since. That's a good question. Yoren the Scald King was invited, of course, but the official response we got out of Mournhold was short and sweet. His son would negotiate on the Pact's behalf. Not for me. I have heard that Ernscar is something of a royal pain in the arse. But aren't we all, to some extent? Perhaps Yoren is using this as a training exercise. If Ernscar doesn't make matters worse, maybe he'll learn something. Look around. Ernscar was here before they moved him. I'm sure of it. The Scald King's axe. Ernscar held that like Queen Maria grips a sweet roll. He wouldn't give it up willingly. Fights like a giant. That sounds like Ernscar. And he's at the coin fort. Well done. Let's find Queen Irene, shall we? All that dead lout had was this bottle of wine. Ugh! Sour. Is there no joy on this damned island? Yeah, if I were to break an ankle making this jump, Queen Maria would kill me. I'll go around and meet you outside.
Nicely done.
hero. If you had any interest in the sea, I would take you on in a heartbeat.
Magister Erin never let me watch him do this. It's so
Vestlin told me what happened. Is it true that a few of those druids were enough to cause our shipwreck? All those lives lost at sea. How much harm can they do? How many more ambushes do they have planned? Makes a person reconsider their work. Oh, it does my aches good to hear that. We'll let House Mornard know what happened here. Spare others some pain. Vestlin says you convinced at least one of them to give up piracy. You hauled more than was asked of you. Take this, with my thanks. House Mornard will hear about what happened here. The good and bad both. Druids turning the living into coral fodder. A fight between mortal life and nature? There's something strange happening here. But it's beyond my comprehension. While you were helping my prisoners, I got my bearings out here. We're not that far from Broke Rock Mine. I've made the run there a time or two in the past. We can make it there and get the assistance we need to make it back to Amanos Station. Like I said, it's not too far. I've recovered my strength, Vestlin is none the worse for wear, and my prisoners will help us defend ourselves. Don't worry about us. We'll be fine. What happened here was out of our control. We'll make a report and get another ship to take the prisoners where they need to go. Mornard will see to the druids here. It might take some time, but the danger they pose won't be ignored. She'll be angry, of that you can be certain. But the prisoners will tell her what happened. I suspect Chirysnia will lead that charge. Not sure. Usually, if we avoid them, the Elder Tide druids leave us alone. This was out of the ordinary. House Mornard will need to do something, but I don't know what. I'm just a sergeant, but I'll do what I can.
Good to see you still well, Emmerich.
And you, Iron. Nice, cat. I say, friend, let's chat. I washed up alone, and now I'm surrounded by allies. At least, allies for the nonce. It's funny how fate can change in a moment, eh? Let's talk about the things we found in the cave. Right. Mentions taking their captive noble to the coin fort. That has to be Prince Ernskar. Amanos used to be a stronghold for high rock slave traders, but that was many years ago. There's a crumbling old ruin just west of here. A long time ago, yes. Not something the Covenant sanctions today, but you're missing the pertinent point. The Green Serpent Gang is using the old coin fort as a hideout, and they're holding Prince Ernskar there. We did indeed. There are songs sung about that weapon. Literally, Yoren performed one of them the last time we shared company. We must return it to the prince when we find him. Anyway, our course... Don't worry about me. I'll meet you at the coin fort. It's just to the coin fort. Shall we journey there together, Iren?
Casca will run ahead and clear the path. I'll make my own way there. I'll see you at the fort. Do try to keep pace with Casca, Emmerich.
Watching you harvest is exciting. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with that. got a talent for finding those.
Truth be told, this is one of the most relaxing diplomatic missions I've had in quite some time.
Walker, we need to talk. Bright moons shine upon us, Walker. Before you arrived, I did some sniffing. A scent like the one that lingers on that axe you found. It's inside the Coin Lord's old fort. I'd bet Zaji's left ear that it's Prince Ernskar. Queen Irene suggests subterfuge. They seek the nobles. Let's give them one. In a word, yes. Pretend Emmerich is your prisoner. Escort him to the front gate and wait for them to let you in. Meanwhile, the Queen and I will await your signal. After we free Ernskar, we'll find a place to signal the rescue ship.
The High King most definitely, agrees. Lead on, my foul captor.
Come, Casca. Let's see how much trouble we can get into.
They captured one of the nobles. You, bring that prisoner inside at once. Sentry, unlock the gate.
I'll draw the serpents out. Be ready.
Hands off, you bastard!
That's one of the nobles Tishchi wants.
High
Unlock the
King
gate.
Emmerich
Grab
is
him.
no one's prisoner!
Steady, my friend.
Attack!
Time to bring the lightning!
on their promise of he's dead.
I assume this is a rescue? The King's Arrow? Is that really you, my friend? Where you fly, victory is sure to follow. But what are you doing here? How did you find me? So all 3 Alliance delegates still live. Good. As soon as I came ashore, I was set upon by the Serpents. I made the bastards pay. But even the son of Yoren, the Skull King, can't fight an entire prison gang on his own. There were too many of them. Sungir, axe of the Skull King. Ah, it feels good to cradle you in my arms again, you powerful blade. But we can't go yet. The Serpent said that something called the Ascendant Order is behind us. Their leaders, the Lord and Magus, are here. And we will, after we deal with the Ascendant Order leaders. Emmerich would agree, and so would Irene. Come, friend. We can deal with these traitors in one fell swoop. With Sungir once more in hand, I feel better already. Let's find this Ascendant Lord and his Magus. I want to show them what it means to attack a Nord warrior. Someone was going to ask that eventually. Publicly, Yoren wants me to step up. The Pact is a sprawling alliance facing threats from all sides. The Skull King has many responsibilities. This is his way to finally... privately. The old goat is someone warming his bed at night, and refuses to stray too far from home. She's a lovely Riften lass. Brunhilde. My father's never been happier. He was only too eager to let me travel in his stead and represent the Pact. Hope is for poets, like my father. I am a warrior. One does not shy from battle at the first sign of danger. Even if nothing is gained from these conversations, Emmerich, Irene, and I shall be the ones who decide when to quit the field. Curious about the Prince of Windhelm, are you? What do you want to know? I have nothing to hide. You don't know the story? How our 3 disparate peoples came together to repel the Akaviri invaders? I haven't always thought so, but I believe the Nords, the Dark Elves, and the Argonians are truly stronger together. I've seen it firsthand. A personal question. My relationship with the Skull King is complex. He loves the chance to teach lessons, to pass on his tales. But he is still disappointed that I can't sing, forever denying him that father-son duet he's always dreamed of. My role? I've been a prince my entire life. My youth was not unlike yours, I imagine. I hunted, I fought, and I learned my lessons. I bathed in the frigid waterfalls that crash from the high peaks, and wrestled with wolves for sport. The usual. Someone was... It feels good to be armed again. I've missed you, Sungir.
I'll get Irene and Casca. We'll wait for your signal.
decides this an inn?
We will have your missing nobles by day's end, my lord.
See that you do. Magus, summon the Order. We meet on High Isle on the morrow.
Get down there!
My liege, we must go.
To escape.
Go on. Find a way outside so you can signal the ship. I need a moment. Guess I'm not as recovered as I thought.
Care to borrow?
I knew you missed me.
I can see the ocean. Sure, that lad all the way back in. Let's get to the dock.
Don't underestimate us.
Hold them at bay.
My magic will destroy you.
Don't let them interrupt the queen.
reach us through this storm.
I was having
My
fun
run is
with
working
that
on
one.
that.
Winds, waves, and storms. Heed my call and still your fury.
It's working!
I don't believe it. She actually did it.
Onto the ship, quickly.
We got them all, even Casca! Friend, give the word and Saji will have you back at Mandrake Manor before you know it.
The Ascended Magus and his lord are cowards. Neither would stand and fight. They call themselves knights? Hardly. At least we heard their plans. A meeting on High Isle, we heard the Ascended Lord say. The Ebonheart Pact is as strong as ever, thanks in part to warriors like you. Tell me, are you still having fun? Does your heart still leap at the sight of the dragon banner? Good. At first I had my doubts about this alliance. But fighting alongside the Dark Elves and the Argonians, I have learned we are stronger together. This is why the pact was forged. Why one day, our banner will fly across all of Tamriel. You mean aside from being half drowned and captured by a prison gang? I fought in many battles, worked at my father's side, and I have started knitting. One of the Grands at the castle has been teaching me. Says it's good for my temperament. If you put a blade to my neck and ask me to explain Almis, Alsav, the Tribunal, I'd probably go down in a spray of blood. I read in the reports you were there. Saved a god, stopped a rock from the heavens. Stand it fair for you. I can only imagine. Father introduced me to the Tribunal. When Lord Vivek spoke, it was like the chimes of the universe sounding in my ears. And so the seal... I'm not so sure about that one. Almalexia is all right, though. Intense, but all right. Nor I, my friend. Vampires and a mad Jarl. Now that's the stuff my father loves to sing about. And that Svana is... well, she's a commanding presence. She's changed so much since we were children. What? No! What an impertinent question. You are lucky you are the savior of Western Skyrim. Fancy Svana, I could never... What were we talking about again? Your adventure in... Oh, yes. Something about a big sack of amber, right? As brave as the Argonians can be, the Hist makes as much sense to me as a high elf at Hrothgar. Did you stop some kind of threat? Or save someone's life? Truly. Apologies for my levity, friend. Ask a Nord warband if they would die for their fellows, and you will see a forest of raised fists. Yet another thing my people and the warriors of Blackmarsh have in common, I suppose.
A daring rescue, a clean escape. Well done, my friend. I can't wait to tell Queen Maria all about it. Very well. Thanks for asking. It feels like forever and a day since you acted with my authority on the Covenant's behalf, doesn't it? I must say, shipwrecked or not, it's a pleasure to have you by my side again. I did. The reports were terrible. After everything that's happened, you'd think one more Daedric prince trying to take over the world wouldn't shock me. And yet... It's not as if the Longhouse Emperors were known for their temperance, but yes, it's disgusting. Incredibly impressive, your actions in Blackwood. That's a good question. Yoren the Scald King was invited, of course, but the official... A daring rescue, a clean escape. Well done, my friend. I can't wait to tell Queen Maria all about it. I kept busy, if that's what you're asking. We made our way around the fort and kept the bulk of the Serpent's forces occupied. Casca was a real champion. She cut down 3 ruffians for every one that Irene or I dealt with. For all their rhetoric, it's clear that the Ascendant Order doesn't want the war in Cyrodiil to end, at least not with one of us on the throne. They're the worst kind of evil, a malicious greed masquerading as a benevolent purpose. A daring rescue, a clean escape? That's a good question. Not for me. I have heard that Ernskar is something of a...
As depressing as it sounds, that's the most fun I've had in months. To be honest, I wasn't sure the ritual would work. If it hadn't, let's assume Zaji could have navigated through the storm and reached us anyway. Yeah, let's go with that. It was a well-planned and dastardly attack. I could sense the magical nature of the summoned storm, and none of my own arcane protections functioned. They blocked them, somehow. If the storm hadn't raged out of control, I'd be... Of course. I'm not an archmage, but I know my way around a spell or two. They must have had agents aboard as well, because I sensed a pulse of magicka before the storm hit. Whatever it was, the bastards rendered every enchanted item we had useless. Absolutely. Tamriel is changing, and her leaders must adapt. The situation in Cyrodiil right now, I can't see a way forward. Perhaps these talks represent a solution. I'm always in favor of people sitting down to have an earnest conversation. They say these are the times that try a mer's soul, but I want to believe I've risen to the occasion. Our first adventure together feels like a lifetime ago, though, doesn't it? If I'm to be stuck on a jungle island with anyone, I'm glad it's you. I was as well. That business was ghastly, and I thank you for your help. Meanwhile, I was stuck in yet another interminable meeting at Eldenroot. I can assure you, Daedric princes or no, you were having more fun than I was. I'm sorry. You met Elwinari at a very difficult time. She's actually a lovely person, and she has a brilliant mind. I desperately wish I could have been there to lend my aid. And my sword arm. I don't get to unsheath my sword nearly enough. It was a well-planned and dastardly attack. I could sense the magical nature of the summoned storm, and none of... Of course. I'm not an archmage, but I know my way around a spell or two. They must have had agents aboard as well, because I sensed a pulse of... Perhaps. I also understand that Amanos has protections in place to discourage scrying and portal spells. Between the two, it's no wonder the Magus Guild couldn't trace our medallions. Absolutely. Tamriel is... They say these are the times that try a mer's soul. I swear, that eye of mine, he gets friskier and friskier with each passing day. Our last conversation was not about matters of state or threats to my security, but about the meritorious backside of a Gratwood emissary. Riveting. I sent him on ahead to prepare the way, but who knows where that cat has gotten to. I promised there would be no trouble. That all the secrecy and careful planning would make the voyage uneventful. Stars above, I'll never hear the end of it now. I have. I would have said anyone was better than that terrible Tharn woman, but Chimera is a stars-blessed delight. She's so brave. The idea of the two of you facing down dragons. That's another battle I could only read about in an eyes report. I think so as well. Core to the Dominion is self-governance and respect for every culture. But if we can see a unified Anakina and Palatine, if the Khajiit people can rally behind a single voice, it would certainly make my life easier.
back in the city. Lady Arabelle wants you back at Mandrake Manor, friend. I'll see you there.
I believed the gun.
Oh, good. I didn't want to walk.
Some call
Tade, Taderi, Denata. Odra, Taderi, Denata. Odra, Taderi, Denata. Rekude, Taderi, Denata. Rekude, Taderi, Denata. Edode, Taderi, Denata. Edode, Deni, Denata. Edode, Deni, Denata. Edora, Deni, Denata. Edora, Deni, Denata. Jaira, Deni, Denata. Jade, Deni, Denata. Jor, Deni, Denata. Notade, Deni, Denata. Odra, Rakeba, Jejota. Hora, Rakeba, Jejota. Hora, Rakeba, Jejota. Bojode, Rakeba, Jejota. Bojode, Rakeba, Jejota. Bojode, Rakeba, Jejota. Jaira, Rakeba, Jejota.
You know, in Aldrin, the Redderans live in a massive crab shell. It's not nearly this tall, though. I'm not sure I've ever been this far up before. What happens if someone falls? Is this the tallest tree in all of Tamriel? Probably all of Nern, come to think of it.
You want to talk about some?
What else?
trouble? Sorry.
Yes?
Those keepers must keep you in their prayers each night.